Hi, I'm Billy Keels, the host of the Going Long podcast. Every week, I'm going to be here interviewing the absolute best in the business as it relates to real asset investing, as well as real Main Street investors. We're going to be having conversations where you can listen in, and that's going to help you to continue on your path to education so that you feel much more comfortable as well as confident in investing long distance. So make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you're liking it as well, because that way you can get every single episode as soon as it comes out. And by the way, don't forget to leave today's episode a 5-star review. Let's go ahead and listen to today's conversation. Welcome to the Going Long podcast. We're back once again to continue to help to educate you so that you feel more comfortable and confident in investing beyond your backyard. I'm your host, Billy Keels. And you know what? If you've had interest or wanted to know how someone who has started out in a military service could end up living in Tuscany, Italy, and investing and managing in real assets, in the type of real asset business that you're probably not thinking about, and doing it from almost 8,000 kilometers or 5,000 miles away, then this is an episode you're going to want to listen to until the absolute very end. Because today's guest, who was originally from Kenosha, Wisconsin, served the U.S. military corps for a number of years, 8 years, and now has his own bed and breakfast. He has a few lavanderias, and he'll tell us what those are all about. He's been also featured in American Coin Op Laundry magazine, where he was talked about as the international entrepreneur living la dolce vita. It's gives me lots of pleasure to welcome to today's show, Mr. Thomas Landenberger. Thomas, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, Billy. Thanks for the invite. Glad to be on the Going Long podcast.
Yes.
Let's get it started.
Yeah, we're ready to get this started. So listen, Thomas, for every episode, before we even get into your story, I always like to start out with the same two questions. And the first one is, help everybody understand, what city are you in today?
I live in Righello, Italy. It is just about a half an hour southwest of Florence. So the center of Tuscany.
Wow. Lovely. People are probably going, woo. And well, they'll be able to see some things here in just a second, but that's another story. Okay. Righello. Perfect. And so also, Thomas, what's the most positive thing that's happened to you in the last 24 hours?
Let's see. Well, actually, this is something new in this moment of COVID-19 that we're going to have got a positive response from a refinancing to get a COVID loan from backed by the Italian government. So that looks like it's going to go through. So, hey, that is positive news. That will free up some more money to invest back. I should invest it back in Italian. Is what I should do. All right. But I might go long.
Even keep going long. Keep going. You've already started going long, so we're gonna get there. Okay, awesome.
Exactly.
So, got some positive news in terms of being able to free up some cash flow through a specific COVID loan there in Italy. So Thomas, look, I gave a whole bunch of highlights, right? But I'd really love for the audience to get to know you more, kind of help us understand a bit more about your backstory, some of the decisions you've made to actually get to this point in your Going Long journey.
Okay, well, the decisions to live in Italy came about by marrying an Italian. So once you marry the Italian, you have to pick a country to live in, and that was either U.S. or here. So we decided on here.
Sounds familiar to
me. Yeah, exactly. Yes. And after which, the roots get firmly planted. You got 3 kids, and then you start up a couple businesses, and so now this is home base. Doesn't mean that, what is it? I think it's Russell Gray who says that live where you want to live and invest where it makes sense. So I have invested here in Italy, started out bought a pasticceria, which is like your local Starbucks back in 2006. Mm-hmm. After when I bought it, my get out date, I knew when my exit was. I was going to put it as a max of 5 years. And I sold it right about to that 5-year day. Sold it, bought this dilapidated farmhouse, which maybe you can see behind me, which is no longer a dilapidated farmhouse.
No, not at all.
Then started having the bed and breakfast there. So
okay.
After which, you can keep going. And then from that, I don't know. Once I have what I call a shiny object syndrome. Once I get that that object, that shiny object that entices me. I get it. It's a little project. I start the project, complete the project, then I'm off to look for something shiny again. And after I completed the remodeling, which I did the majority of it myself, then it was time to look for another shiny object. Passed by an empty storefront on my way to my daughter's school 3 or 4 times a day, looking at this empty storefront, wondering what I could do there. At that moment, I think I had been reading probably that little purple book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, got me looking into opportunities. And I remember meeting a man that had laundromats, that was opening up a laundromat in the town that I had the pastry shop in. So contacted him, and then that's how I started on my journey of laundromat ownership. So opened that first one. 1 year later, we opened up the second one here in Italy. And then the shiny objects started. They were shinier over the Atlantic Ocean. So took a month off. Went to Florida because originally being from Wisconsin, as you stated, I'm cold averse now after living in Tuscany for the last 19 years. So do not want to live back in a cold environment. Went to Florida and thought about maybe buying a small 4-plex, maybe 8-plex, some kind of rental real estate. And as I was there, I would see laundromats, would stop in, look inside them, see what they had, what kind of ideas that I could maybe take back to my Italian laundromats. Could have been a magazine rack that they had in the corner, or a children's library angle, whatever in the corner, whatever. Some ideas, and I stumbled upon a laundromat that was closed. And I looked in the bottom, and there was literally a 3.5 by 5 inch note card. So, I mean, we're talking a tiny little sign that said for lease. And that's when I decided that I didn't need to reinvent the wheel. I know what I'm doing with laundromats, and then it's just, they're 4 times as big over there. And at that point, Veterans Coin Laundry was born literally in a dream, practically, because as I was laying in bed in my hotel in Florida, I woke up, had that idea of Veterans Coin Laundry, jotted down I always sleep with a yellow notepad next to my bed. So when you have those weird ideas, woke up the next morning, still remembered it, looked at it, and that's how that was born. So we just passed our 2-year anniversary there. So we're at 2.5 years now, I think. And then just a month ago, in the middle of this COVID-19 disaster pandemic, opened up our third point of sale here in Italy. So we're at 3 small laundromats here in Italy and 1 larger laundromat back in Jacksonville, Florida.
Wow. So this is a lot to unpack there. And first and foremost,
yes.
And I know that I've told you this before, but I just want to say it here. I want to continue to thank you for your service and the things that you that you've done and continue to do. So, and you talked about the quote from Robert Helms, which what you talked about in terms of being able to live where you want and invest where it makes sense. And yes. and you've given us a couple of different things, right? You say it's the shiny object syndrome. One of the things I see is that you were really clear on, like, you're looking for new opportunities. So you talked about the storefront that you saw, and that ended up becoming what is now a real area of expertise for you. You have created the proof of concept, not just once, you duplicated it, and then you decided you wanted to triplicate it, but you did that in a place that was, like I said before, about 8,000 kilometers or 5,000 miles away from you, in the same niche, which is the laundromat space. Maybe you can talk to us a little bit about kind of what were some of the things that you also attracted you to then replicate this model that was successful in Italy, in your backyard kind of, and then taking it thousands of miles away to see another proof of concept US based?
So the similarities between them are, one, you really don't have employees. My employees are the washers and the dryers. So especially here in Italy, having employees is very expensive. There's just a lot of costs associated with having employees. So here I don't have employees. Like I said, the washers and dryers, I don't have to pay them 14 months out of the year. There's just weird Italian rules. So that was one thing. After having the pastry shop and 8 employees, I realized that I did not want employees any longer. Mm-hmm. So that was the idea for that. And the similarities are that, yes, they're going to break down but it's just really, people need to wash their clothes. It's one of the four fundamental things. You need a house over your head. You need food to eat. You need clean clothes. Mm-hmm. And entertainment is the fourth, I think. And what I would, setting up the Jacksonville place, knowing that it was going to be 5,000 miles away, we did things a bit differently, but we did them, with the experience of having the ownership of these two here. So as far as, for example, the just using dollar coins instead of quarters. And this is really trade jargon type. But there's a lot of things that we did to make it even easier to have hands off, because we knew we were going to. My business partner is in California. I'm in here. So Jacksonville is pretty much the middle of the road for both of us. So it's we just set it up to be run from a distance. It's all, I have all the controls on my telephone. I have video surveillance. I have an app that tells me exactly how much I'm taking in gross income. I can start machines. I can take them out of service. I can, I can give people refunds from the change machine. So it's, yes. Am I totally hands off from the Jacksonville laundromat? No. Sometimes I'll get a call here, and it'll just be a customer service call. And someday I would like to farm that out to totally have zero. But that's not, me. I'm a very active business owner.
Okay. So a lot of different things here. So one of the things I wanted to stop you earlier, but you mentioned,
yeah, exactly.
Because you talk about we, and then you said that you're here, yes. Jacksonville is between you and your business partner. There's another element here. So talk to us about how you are working with business partners to actually go out and, I guess, complement the skills that you also have.
My business partner, his name is Dr. Danke. He is he is the capital investor. He, I think, would be almost kind of like what was his name, Javier, who's the person who's making the big bucks, who's doing the 60 hours a week. Don't know what to do. They know they want to get out of that rat race. But and I'm the guy who's going to make that possible for my business partner. So I'm the boots on the ground. I'm the sweat equity, and he is the guy who is your listener probably.
So okay, so then you and Dr. Danke, you work together. You each have your own specialties, right? You are providing the part of the team that is creating freedom. Creating time freedom, creating the capital that continues to work for itself more and more. He is on a different coast. Kind of talk to us about how you actually use technology to keep the two of you aligned and your companies moving forward.
That's very easy. That's just Google. We can do everything with Google spreadsheets and what have you. So we have our Google Docs. We go through that usually once, but we talk at least once a week. But then we'll go through the P&L just together, sitting down over a cup of coffee or a beer or whatever. Sit down. We do the books. Do it monthly, but that FaceTime with the technology that's available today, it is so easy. It really doesn't matter where you are. So, as we were talking earlier today to set up this interview, I started thinking of how I was saying, yes, with this pandemic, my reservations here at the bed and breakfast, they have all canceled, which is going to give me a summer off, essentially. So do I need to keep putting Debbie Downer and keep, depressed about not having any income? Or last February, I found another location in Jacksonville to open up a laundromat. So after I got off the phone with you, I'm like, what I need to do now is just wait for the airlines to open back up, get me back to the stateside. Since I'm not going to be having the tourists here this summer, more than likely, I need to focus my energies on getting another location up and running in Jacksonville. So that's that is the other positive spin that really happened to me in the last 24 hours.
So I think this is fantastic. And this is one of the things that we hear a lot. And a lot of times I will hear guys like Russell Gray, right, who will talk about when these types of things happen. We're talking about the pandemic specifically. You have one of two opportunities. You can succumb to fear, uncertainty, and doubt, because that's a real possibility. And that's what you're talking about before. Or you can look at the side, which is hope and opportunity. And what I hear you saying is you have decided to say, okay, you have a proof of concept that you've already triplicated in Europe. You have one place in the US. It's with the same type of asset and business. And now you're looking to duplicate that proof of concept. So really taking advantage of this specific opportunity in time to push you forward and push your business forward even faster.
Yes, exactly. It's, okay. I mean, I guess that's just the kind of person I am also. You always got to find I'm always on what's the word? Optimist.
Optimist, yeah.
Sometimes those Italian words get stuck in my head,
Hey, if there's anybody can understand you, it's me.
I know.
Same things happens to me. So don't worry. And I know all of our audience will forgive us for that.
Okay.
And many of them will probably even understand what we're going through. So I want to drill down on this then. So the whole thing of you have created your proof of concept. You've made a conscious decision to continue to build out laundromats. So you've built out expertise, you're building out your network, et cetera. Talk to us a little bit about, you already talked to us about not having employees in Italy, for instance, for your model.
Yeah.
It wasn't the most appropriate thing. However, you do want to invest locally, and laundromats are something that works really well. Talk to us a little bit about what are some of the other differences that you see between the Italian market in terms of the region where you are investing, and the same thing for the U.S. market. Like I said, you started earlier with the employees, but maybe talk to us about some of the other things.
Okay. The market is it's a bit more difficult to enter in the Italian market, I believe, because laundromats have been so established in America for 60, 70 years now. Italy is probably in the last 20 years that they've been gaining popularity. So as you open a laundromat in Italy, there's a pretty slow curve to get up to. It could take up to 2 years to get up to max income gross. So whereas in America, it's all about finding the correct location, or lucky like me, you find the location that had been shut down due to maybe the 2008 crisis or what have you, and was able to come in, retool, and put all new machines in. Our mission statement in the Jacksonville laundromat is, we just want to provide a clean, well-lit, safe laundromat where people, can feel that it is their neighborhood laundromat. That's what I tell people when I'm back there and I see my customers, and I said, well, this isn't. They'll ask me, well, thank you for doing this laundromat. I'm like, well, it's not my laundromat; it's your laundromat. I mean, so it is the neighborhood, it's the community thing. So for me, that's the important part. Customer interactions are very enjoyable when I'm there. So I do miss that by being a long distance investor. But when I'm able to have that contact with the people, it's fantastic.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, talk about
it. Okay, so the differences between the two, I mean, like I stated before, is, it cost a bit more initially in America because they're 4 or 5 times as big. Okay. Sorry, disappeared.
Yeah.
They're 4 or 5 times as big. So the initial investment of the capital is more. The systems that we put in to have this, to have the technology to be able to control them from the long distance, that was maybe it was $10,000 more that we put in the different boards into the change machines and so there's a bit initial capital investment, but I mean, for the peace of mind that I get by having that ability to see what's going on inside my laundromat any moment, and to have the ability to do that is worth it for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't. I don't see how I could have done the investment.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. And I know you and I've talked about this before, but it is such a the type of business with assets that can be, when run properly, can be extremely profitable, right? But so few people are really talking about laundromats as as an area to invest. So I'm just curious also too, in terms of attracting or either the community or investor capital. I mean, you've talked about your partnership that you have with Dr. Dinky. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. But I just curious from an investing standpoint, people, kind of what that ecosystem looks like.
As far as like, how did I attract investors? Or
well, not necessarily how you attracted investors, but just, everyone goes to the multifamily organizations and events, and mm-hmm. they go to the mobile home park events, and we have whatever mm-hmm. type of sub asset class within real estate. And one of the things, had I not known you, I wouldn't have really known about this space. And the more that you educate me, I understand that this is a space that's really interesting. So I guess it was probably a bit confusing, the question. But number one is just kind of what is happening from Events Association. I talked about you being in the magazine from American mm-hmm. Coin Operated magazine. What's happening in that space? And then also, what does that do to attract investor capital potentially?
The space is actually picking up. I mean, from being in that trade magazine and what have you, and belonging to the Coin Laundry Association, that's a resource that anyone could log on to and see. There's a Coin Laundry Association has lots of web stuff, webinars and what have you, for a lot of people that want to get involved. I mean, they want people to set up more laundromats. So the Coin Laundry Association is, anchored by some of the main the big manufacturers of the machines. So they want to sell more machines. It's a great resource. Lots of people on the forums there, Facebook forums, what have you, to get any kind of answers for the newbies that have questions about it. I'm in Laundromat Owners Showcase. There's another one. Laundromat Owners Success. There's a lot of forums out there to look at. So now I think nowadays the education that you could get just from your computer is just phenomenal. When I did it, when I think I opened the first one was 7 years ago. That might have been out there then, but I just wasn't exposed to it. Maybe because I was here in Italy. Just kind of I actually think what it was playing the game Cash Flow 101. As you get out of the rat race, there's a card somewhere in there about owning a laundromat.
In the fast track.
That's kind of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what that did. So that's the help you can get by going to those types of resources. As far as the second part of your question was,
well, actually, one of the things I would ask you just on top of that question.
Yep.
So there are a lot of different. How'd you say it? So as you look at the different types of people that are attracted to the space, was really around the investors and interactions with investor type of capital as these associations or groups come together.
So, yeah, well, I don't know how much experience I've had with that type of I think the people that, well, I will say the big investors, the big money that's coming to laundromats now is usually coming from people that want to leave their corporate jobs and get in. What the big thing now in this moment is pickup and delivery from domestic homes, because people have noticed that whereas there's like three sectors of laundromats. There's the self-service, where that's just a classic laundromat where just people walk in, they do their own stuff, they wash, dry, fold, and go home. Then a new hybrid kind of laundromat opened up a few years ago, where people would bring their laundry in and there would be an attendant there. They would weigh it. The attendant would do it. That's called wash, dry, fold. And but now in today's society, it's even getting to the point where people don't even want to bring the laundry to the laundromat. So now that there's a lot of services that are popping up with pickup and delivery, which is really taking off, which is what I'm anticipating the second location that we will do in Jacksonville. We'll have them, at least a big part of it will be the drop-off, pickup and delivery. Okay. So as far as the people that are coming into it now are mainly going to be focusing on that. Some friends that I have in California area are, I mean, really big laundromats, 5,000 square feet. You know, that's out of my league at the moment. I just don't want, they have employees. That does not fit my business plan.
Yeah. Okay. And I know that's one of the things that you're very clear. You're you allow businesses and real assets to provide the lifestyle that you're looking for, not necessarily the financial return, which is one of the things we talked about before. Thomas, we're going to start wrapping things up. But before we do that, because you just talked about the 5,000 square foot. Now, I know for a lot of our audience who is based in Europe that may have seen a laundromat, depending on where they are. Just give us an idea of the space when you're talking about in just using your specific example of the type of space, maybe number of machines that you may have in one of your businesses in Italy, and contrast that with your business that you currently have in Jacksonville and that you're also looking to grow. Just maybe number of machines, space, kind of stuff.
Sure. The ones in Italy are more or less what you would consider they're put in like almost a garage type size. I mean, 40 square meters. That's the so for our European counterparts, 40 square meters is the size. They usually have between 4 and 5 washing machines and 4 and 6 dryers. It's very small. The Jacksonville, like here in Italy, I will have one maybe 7-kilo washer, one 15-kilo washer, and one 20-kilo washer. Whereas in Jacksonville, we have 5, of the small ones, 5 mediums, 5 intermediums, and 5 a size that I wouldn't even put in Italy here because it would just be too big and no one would use it. So yeah, you have to look at the. So yeah, in Jacksonville we have 20 washers and 20 dryers. So, and that's one store. And here, with all 3 stores combined, we have about the same. Okay.
So it's about 5 to 1 if we look at
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wow. So there's I personally could talk to you over and over every day, all day, as you know, and I'm sure that people want to continue to find out more. But you know what? We kind of have a constraint on time, and it's time for our going long final 3. But I never ask the going long final 3 unless the guest, you, Thomas, lets me know that you're absolutely ready to answer the questions, excuse me. Are you ready?
All right. Bring it on.
All right, here we go.
Hail Mary pass coming up. Going long.
Here we go. All right. The first question is, what is your favorite, and I'm putting you on the spot here, what is your favorite European city?
I'm going to, I'm going to give you the city that it's actually a small island in Greece. Cool. It's called Ios, I-O-S. And it happened to be just where I met my wife. And when I was backpacking around through Europe and working at an Italian restaurant and ended up meeting her there. We went back to Greece last summer, and the Greek Isles are just phenomenal. Santorini, Ios, all the Cyclade Islands there.
All right. Beautiful.
That is my winner.
All right, there we go.
Eos.
There we go. And Thomas, you've built an amazing life. You've created, both on the personal side, having had the opportunity to work and travel in different places with your military service, and then life as well. And you've also been able to build the lifestyle around that. Probably along the way, because everybody that I've ever spoken to that's successful has made 1 or 2 mistakes. And I'm going to guess that might be your case as well. You probably learned a couple of lessons along the way, and I'd be interested for you to share, or would you be interested in sharing with the Going Long audience one lesson that you paid full price for that you may help someone else not have to pay full price for?
Wow. Lesson that I guess it would be, even I don't consider myself so successful. So I think maybe my main mistake is something, it's the self-limiting belief that I put on myself. So don't beat yourself up. that's so important that maybe now I don't care anymore. I mean, I don't care about having the $10,000 watch. I don't care about that. I have time. I am one of my first customers to the bed and breakfast. He said that he was asset rich and cash poor, and I'm the same way. I just always want to keep continuing to build more assets because I know at some point I'll stop chasing shiny objects, and all those shiny objects will then start putting more money back into my pocket, and I won't be, So anyway, don't get too held up on self-limiting beliefs.
Awesome. So, and don't get held up on self-limiting beliefs. And one of the things that I would also say is because of what you're doing and creating that proof of concept and replicating it, that asset base that we talked about is something that you're doing, and you're very clearly also helping other people that feel a bit trapped sometimes to be able to create more return of capital to create time freedom for them as well. So don't lose sight of that. And then lastly is what book would you recommend our audience?
I'm actually what book? I'm actually reading a book that my daughter bought me for my birthday at the moment. I'm actually here. It's called, can you read that?
Homo Deus.
Homo Deus by Yuval Harari.
Okay.
Yeah. A Brief History of Tomorrow. So, yeah. Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow. It's the second. He's the author of Sapiens also.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, that's what I'm reading at the moment. But so
that's
interesting
awesome.
read at the moment. Otherwise, I'm reading,
Homo Deus. Okay, so we'll take that one. Actually, Thomas, this is the first time I've done this because you're giving us an opportunity. So we talked about your laundry business. You talked about the business that you set up before, the pasticceria, and we've talked about the bed and breakfast. So could you just do us really quick favor for those of you that are watching us on our video channels? You're going to get a chance to see this, but could you just give us a quick peek of the bed and breakfast? I know we see over your shoulder.
Bed and breakfast. So this is
just give us a peek. He's there at the
pool. This was a dilapidated old Tuscan farmhouse. Had no windows and roofs and nothing. So we did all that ourselves, and then.
Wonderful.
Yeah, they're building. So it's I live in the middle of the Tuscan countryside. I mean, if you saw or read the book Under the Tuscan Sun, that's kind of my life.
There you go. So, and if you are if you're listening to this, it's one thing. So that means you need to go over and jump onto our go to YouTube or go to Facebook or go to Instagram, go to one of these, because you'll see Thomas, you'll see this wonderful place. And when you're in Tuscany, well, guess what? You should be looking up Thomas and his team. So, Thomas, listen, man, this has been a lot of fun for me personally. It's been very educational. We're talking about not only building businesses, but being able to follow and live your dreams. Doing that for guys like you and I that are from the Midwest. You've been able to carry that out. You've been able to live. You met your wife in Greece. You now call life and home in Italy, which is fantastic. And you're investing in businesses and creating value locally as well as long distance. And you really epitomize all the things that we like to talk about here and share with our audience. So, and also too, because of what you're doing, you are creating the possibility for others to understand the type of business that you're investing in, be able to invest alongside of you, and also be able to, have more time and maybe come visit you in Tuscany for one of those business meetings or something like that. So look, you've helped us a lot here. You shed a lot of light on something that maybe many of us didn't know about. And I'm sure that there are lots of people that want to figure out, like, Thomas, man, you know what? This has been cool. I love seeing the place. I want to talk to you. I want to be able to speak with you and your team. Help us understand, Thomas, what is the best way for someone to contact you or your team?
The best way would probably be, if you want to go for email, info@veteranscoinlaundry.com. That'll get straight to my iPhone inbox. info@veteranscoinlaundry.com. Or if you happen to be looking for a place in Tuscany, My Tuscan Rental on Twitter, Facebook, and what have you. My Tuscan Rental. Yeah.
At My Tuscan Rental, or info@veteranscoinlaundry.com. And we're going to include both of those in the show notes. And Thomas, really want to thank you for taking the time to share with me and the Going Long audience today. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
Thanks for the invitation, Billy. Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. And so for the Going Long audience, once again, I want to thank you for joining us on today's episode. Also going to ask you to go out and share the episode with at least 2 or 3 other people so we can continue to grow our community with other cool, like-minded people. And I guess that's enough for today. And I'm really looking forward to joining you back for the next episode. So go out and make it a great day. Freedom! Wow. Don't you love hearing from top-notch experts in the field? You know, when I was getting started, I really wish that I would have had access to such experts. And even more, I wish they would have given me like a really simple list of things to follow so that I could have gotten to my goals much faster and been much happier even sooner. So that's why I've created for you the 7 things that you should avoid in order to be successful in long distance investing. And you can pick that up really easily by going to billykeels.com/7 things to avoid. And also, if you liked today's episode, don't forget to leave a 5-star review. I'm looking forward to seeing you on our very next episode, so go out and make it a great day.